Mother's Day is a chance to honor all moms for being heroes in their children's eyes. But some have gone above and beyond the daily sacrifice of motherhood for their children. Believe me, as a mother of 4, there is no small sacrifice when it comes to your children. Whether it is to wipe a nose, kiss a boo-boo, a hug unexpectedly, or to quite literally give your life for your child. So when a mother says she will do anything, absolutely anything for her child, it is very true. On behalf of myself and Mother Creepypasta, this is in honor for mothers everywhere. So hug your babies close and have an amazing, love-filled day of the year, and have a happy Mother's Day, and thank you very much. We are all grateful for our mothers, but Tony Cavello of Lawrenceville, Georgia, has been especially grateful for his mom, Miss Angela Cavello. Here is the story as told in the local newspaper, entitled, "She Lifted a Car to Save Her Son." A middle-aged woman said a prayer gave her the strength to lift a large automobile 4 inches off her unconscious son, while neighbors came to rescue him. Angela Cavello, who is in her late 50s and is a grandmother, said her son Tony was working beneath his 1964 Chevy Impala when the bumper jack slipped and the car fell on him, knocking him unconscious. She said she lifted the car about 4 inches, but was unable to rouse her son, a high school junior. "I was kicking him, saying, 'Get out! Get out!'" she said in the interview Tuesday. Miss Cavello held the car while Johnny Edwards, 11, who was visiting his grandparents next door, rushed down the street and found 2 neighbors who reinserted the jack and dragged out the teenager. The youth was taken to a hospital here Friday and transferred to another nearby in Decatur, where a neurologist found no brain damage. He was allowed to go home Sunday. Miss Cavello said she was saying prayers all through the ordeal and credits her son's lack of injuries to the prayers of fellow members of St. Lawrence Catholic Church. Angela Cavello poses with her son, Tony, standing to the right of her, and her helper in the rescue, Johnny Edwards. Wow. With her phenomenal supermom strength, she picked up the car and kept it off her son until help arrived. Now that's the power of a mom's love.
The best way to describe Lydia Angiou is, she's a badass mother. While walking with her sons in their northern Quebec village, she was alerted to the impending danger from a frantic group of children. An 8-foot polar bear was approaching and sizing up her 7-year-old son. Lydia then ran to get between her son and the polar bear and started punching and kicking at the animal. The bear then swatted Lydia's face, knocking her to the ground. The bear loomed over her, but Lydia continued to kick, and was struck once more before the commotion brought the attention of a neighbor. The neighbor then grabbed a rifle and fired warning shots to divert the bear's attention from Lydia, giving him a clear shot at the bear. The top mama bear came out of the attack with mere scratches and a black eye.
Nikki Bradshaw Carpenter, a mom and savior. Heroes come in all shapes and sizes. Not all fight wars, arrest thugs, hit home runs, or score touchdowns. Nikki Bradshaw Carpenter of Yazoo City was a petite 5'5" and weighed no more than 115 pounds. She was blonde-haired with big brown eyes. She was a mother of 3. She was a country girl who liked to go to dirt track races. She loved her 3 sons. Saturday, when the wicked tornado ravaged central Mississippi, she gave up her life to save them. She was only 31. Nobody who knew Nikki and how much she loved those youngins is surprised by what she has done, said James Bradshaw of Florence, Nikki's father. She loved them boys till her last breath. The mobile home in which Nikki Bradshaw lived with her 3 sons was picked up and heaved more than 100 yards by the 170-mile-per-hour winds. Neighbors who first found the mangled mobile home heard the cries of the boys, Lane 7, Ethan 2, and Austin 1. The 3 were found bruised but alive, their mother's arms around them. Lane, the 7-year-old first grader, has since told his grandfather what happened. Lane said his mama received a call from someone that a storm was coming. She took the 3 boys to the hallway, covered them with pillows, and then got on top of them for protection. Lane's left hand was broken. Ethan, the middle child, needed surgery to repair his lacerated right ear. Austin, the baby, was hurt least of all. First responders who flew in by helicopter said it appeared Nikki had died of a broken back and broken neck. Lane told me he knew right away his mama was dead. James Bradshaw said. Lane said he had heard his little brothers were calling out for her, and when she did not answer, he knew right away she was gone, because she always answered when they called. The 2 youngest children do not understand that their mother isn't coming back, said their grandfather. They cry for her all the time. We've had to take the pictures down of her in the house, for the time being. Nikki and her husband, Dennis Carpenter Jr., had been separated for more than a year, James Bradshaw said. James Bradshaw and his wife, Garlana, have temporary custody of the boys. A custody hearing was scheduled for this morning, Bradshaw said. Nikki had told us many times, if anything ever happened to her, to love my kids and take care of them. James Bradshaw said we plan to. Nikki Carpenter had quit her job as a postal carrier so she could stay at home with her children. A graduate of Yazoo City High School and Holmes Community College, she was planning to pursue a nursing degree in the next couple of years, Bradshaw said. Elizabeth King of Yazoo City, a friend of Nikki's since they were both in their early teens, described Nikki as the friendliest person I have ever known. She was cheerful and always smiling. She didn't have much, but what she had, she would give you, King continued. She pretty much took me in when I didn't have a job. I babysat for her all the time, and she loved her children. Their daddy wasn't in the picture much, so she played ball with Lane, took them fishing. They were her life. At the Bradshaw's home in Florence on Tuesday afternoon, Garlana Bradshaw was putting Austin, the baby, down for a nap, while 2-year-old Ethan, with his heavily bandaged ear and legs, showed visitors his toy 6-shooter. Lane, the oldest, has a black eye from the storm and wears a cast on his injured hand, but he smiled and shook hands with visitors. Meanwhile, the Bradshaw's doorbell kept ringing with neighbors and members of their church bringing by toys, clothes, food, diapers, and more. I can't begin to tell you how good people have been to us, James Bradshaw said. James Bradshaw said an education fund has been established at Copiah Bank in each of the boys' names. Their education was really important to Nikki. Bradshaw said, "We are asking that if people want to, they can donate to the boys' education instead of flowers." There is no doubt that is what Nikki would have wanted. Elizabeth King, the longtime friend, agreed. Like I have said, she didn't have much, but she did have them, and they had her, King said. Nikki and I, we could talk about anything, King continued. She told me many times that she would be glad to die to save one of her boys. She did die. She died for them all.
Whether her child was 5 or 25, Rohima's supermom abilities still proved almost bionic when she rescued her adult daughter from the jaws of an 18-foot crocodile. In their village in Indonesia, Rohima heard her daughter screaming down at the riverbank. She quickly came to her daughter's rescue with a barefoot kick to the croc's head, and then freed her daughter's trapped leg from its mouth by wrenching its jaws open barehanded. Rohima and her daughter Trisna survived the struggle, with her daughter needing 50 stitches to her leg.
Why